Good morning, friends. It's Joe. Welcome to my animal spirituality video for Monday, September the 2nd. Happy Labor Day to you and your loved ones. Hopefully, on this Labor Day, I don't know, maybe I'm coming up with something a little unique here. We rest, but we rest so that we put forth even more of an effort going forward. I really think that is something needed in our world today is more effort in what we do, regardless of what we do, regardless of our profession, the way we lead our life. Just putting forth a little bit more effort, I think would go a long way towards making this world a better place. I feel very strong about that, and I thought I'd offer that on this Labor Day. But for today, at least think about it, pray about it, meditate on it, and hopefully it'll help. With that, we are going to talk today about St. Francis. And we are going to have a series based on the prayer of St. Francis and how it can help us bring more peace to our life and the lives of others, especially the animals we share this planet with. So today we're going to take the first part of the prayer, and then in coming sessions we will take different other parts of the prayer. And by the end, we will have a good fortification of ourselves to be at more peace. So let's begin with the first line of the prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Clearly, St. Francis is telling us here that it is God's peace that we are all about, not ours, not our friends, not our spouses, not the animals. It's God's peace. And God's peace is everlasting, and God's peace is infinite, and God's peace is without limits and without any conditions whatsoever. So we have quite the task ahead of us, but it's a worthy one. So we are an instrument of that. And if we consider the instrument as a musical instrument, well, the musical instrument that is us in God's hands must play effectively. We cannot be a broken instrument. We cannot be an instrument that is out of tune. We must be an effective instrument of God's peace. And St. Francis is saying, make me an instrument of your peace. So we have our task in front of us, and it unravels very much into the next line of the prayer, which is, where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Well, nothing like starting off with an ultimate challenge. And this is the ultimate challenge for us in our spiritual life and trying to extend peace to the world. We must look at the situations that take place, as vile and difficult as they may be, where there is hatred, and there is much hatred in the world. We must acknowledge that. We cannot put our heads in the sand. We must acknowledge it. And there is a lot of hatred towards our animal friends. So do we return hatred with hatred? I know that is the instinct. And believe me, I can relate. I put my hands up, both of them, and say, I understand. It comes right up through the bottom of our hearts and spews out, and we want to return hatred with hatred. But where are we going? We're going nowhere when we do that. And we are certainly not heeding the words of St. Francis. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Sow love. Spread seeds of love. Now, here's what I do, and maybe it can help a little bit. And I do take a page out of St. Francis's book and his prayer, certainly. I don't go and embrace the one who sowed hatred. I don't acknowledge them. I don't try to pacify them. I remain quiet. I remain quiet. I push all the energy into my tanden, my tantien, which is the middle of our body. I try to have that fortify my heart and my soul and my mind. And I push as much love out as I possibly can, especially to those afflicted. And yes, where I can, which isn't easy, which is the hardest of all tasks, I push a little bit towards those who sow the hate as well. I realize this is a very difficult endeavor. And I realize that we are caught in that emotional outburst immediately as we see it. So my best advice to you practically is when we see these acts, we hear of these acts that are unfortunately absolutely terrible and they take place in our world, we must take a very deep and healing breath. We must breathe in as strongly as we can, breathe out the hatred from our own heart, and try as we might to sow love from that point forward, especially to those affected. St. Francis didn't become a saint just by chance. He really took these extra steps, and that's why I thought it was worthy that we look at his prayer line by line and say, what can we do better in these situations? So, my friends, in our time here together this morning, I would ask you to see what our instrument looks like. How do we have to fine tune it a little bit to be in God's hands and bring peace to the world? And then, yes, starting off with arguably the most challenging of all. How do we return hatred with love? How do we, where there is hatred, how do we sow love? And I would ask you to consider what I asked you to look at, what St. Francis asks us to look at, what God asks us to look at. And I will bet you one thing, although it won't be easy, there will be a little bit more peace in your heart. And that's a good place to start. Well, my friends, that's my first part of the prayer of St. Francis that I wanted to share with you on this day. As always, I hope it was helpful. I always welcome your comments and your thoughts, and I always appreciate you being here with me. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we will return to a scripture reflection, and then later in the week, Thursday or Friday, we will return with the second part of the prayer of St. Francis as we take a journey with St. Francis and God and ourselves to make this world a more peaceful and compassionate place. Have a great Labor Day, everyone, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.